Welcome back, you guys. This is your second stimulus package update and second stimulus check update for Saturday, August 15th. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful weekend. We've got a lot to get into today, and I cannot wait to share this information with you guys. President Trump sent out a number of tweets this weekend, and I just want to share exactly what these tweets mean for you and your stimulus checks. Specifically what he said about the $3,400 stimulus checks or direct payments to families. If you guys remember, President Trump said he wanted stimulus checks to be larger than what the Democrats wanted. And many of you guys have been asking, hey, whatever happened to that? You know, we're still waiting on our stimulus checks. We haven't heard from President Trump. You know, it seems like nothing's happening. So anyway, I cannot wait to share this information with you guys. Now, multiple tweets went out from President Trump. And the first one I wanted to go into is, you know, the one where he says, you know, he's directed Steve Mnuchin to get ready to send payments, $3,400 for a family of four to all Americans. Democrats are holding this up. So we're going to go into that. We're going to go into the PPP payments. Many of you guys run small businesses and you've been asking me about the Paycheck Protection Programs, also known as the PPP. We're going to touch on that. Also, states and local government aid. President Trump sent out a tweet about that. We're going to break all of this down. And, you know, many of you guys have been asking me about the Financial Freedom Coaching Program. Guys, I promise that the coaching program is still under development. I'm still working on it. But, you know, I can assure you that, you know, if you no longer want to live paycheck to paycheck and you want to learn how to make more money and, you know, you want to learn about investing and how to make your money work for you while you sleep, the program will be absolutely amazing for you. So as soon as that coaching program is done, I will let you guys know. But so anyway, let's jump right into it. So welcome back to all my subscribers. And for those of you guys who are brand new to the channel, we cover all things investing, how to make more money, how to generate multiple streams of income. So if you guys are interested in any of that, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get right into it. So President Trump has been noticeably absent from a lot of the negotiations with regard to the stimulus checks. And, you know, what we've seen is that there's been a lot of disagreement between Trump and the Senate, which is majority Republican led. And we've actually seen quite a bit of alignment between Trump and the Democrats. It was kind of weird. So President Trump has told us that, you know, he wanted the second stimulus checks to be larger than what the Democrats wanted. The Democrats wanted $1,200, which was passed in the HEROES Act back in May. So we knew, based on those statements, that President Trump wanted a stimulus check that would be larger than $1,200. Now, President Trump has pretty much been absent from a lot of the negotiations. And then we've heard from Mitch MCConnell that he permitted senators to leave until the negotiations had passed. And many people were, you know, kind of thinking that, okay, we're not going to get stimulus checks anytime soon. President Trump also signed 4 executive orders just last Saturday. And out of the executive orders, those included the retroactive federal unemployment benefits retroactive back to August 1st, a payroll tax deferral effective September 1st. Student loans are effective now, but would be extended, as well as the eviction moratorium. He's leaning on the Health and Human Services CDC to make that happen. Now, many people were asking, well, what about the stimulus checks? Why didn't he add stimulus checks into the executive order and take action on that? And the question about whether or not the president had the power to make stimulus checks be sent out without Congress was up for debate. However, President Trump recently sent out a tweet and he said, you know, I've directed Steve Mnuchin to get ready to send direct payments, $3,400 for a family of 4 to all Americans. Democrats are holding this up. Both the Democrats and the Republicans definitely agree on a second stimulus check. And in particular, they agree on a $1,200 stimulus check. President Trump, when he tweeted $3,400 for a family of 4 for all Americans, that means that would be $1,200 per adult and then $500 per child. So that's clearly in alignment with what's already been agreed upon. Now, if you guys remember, last week, actually a couple weeks back, there was an offer that was provided from the White House, from the Republicans, and effectively it was pretty much saying, hey, we'll extend the $600 per week federal unemployment insurance benefits. But the problem with that offer was that it was a single component. And the Democrats, specifically, you know, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, she wanted the full package to be passed, not just a single line item in it for a temporary period of time. Now, what it looks like here with this tweet is that President Trump is actually suggesting that we pass or just push this one stimulus check through without having to go through the entire package, without having to pass an entire bill, which is the biggest crux of this problem. Now, President Trump added that Democrats are actually holding up the stimulus checks or the stimulus payments because there's several actual disagreements that are unrelated to the stimulus checks. Now, this is really good news. President Trump is literally blaming the Democrats for holding up the stimulus payments, basically saying that there's several disagreements that are unrelated to stimulus checks. If President Trump can get Congress to agree on just the stimulus checks, we can actually get the stimulus checks passed by themselves, just like the executive orders. Now, the thing is that Congress has the power. Congress has the control over the purse strings. If we can get Congress, if we can get the Senate and the House of Representatives to simply agree on, hey, we're just going to send out the $1,200 stimulus check. We understand that there's a number of other disagreements. Let's just get the stimulus checks out to people based on what President Trump and Steve Mnuchin have confirmed just the other day. If there was an agreement on the just sending out the stimulus checks, Congress can sign off on stimulus checks, the president can sign off on stimulus checks, and then the IRS can literally have payments out 1 week after that. There are 35 seats in the Senate that are up for election. There are 435 seats in the House of Representatives that are up for re-election as well in November, not to mention obviously the presidential election. Now, if President Trump is literally putting the ball into the Democratic court, then it may force the Democrats to say, hey, you know what? I think, we definitely wanted to hold out for the entire package. We wanted, this long laundry list of items. But you know what? Let's look out for the American people, and perhaps let's look out for our own votes. Let's look out for our own ability to get votes. Let's just pass these stimulus checks and make the American people happy. And so a lot of you guys are probably thinking, well, we've got a lot of congressmen and women out of town. Mitch Mcconnell sent them away, and, there's no negotiations taking place. Nothing's going to happen. I beg to differ. Steve Mnuchin, Mark Meadows, they're negotiating on behalf of the Republicans in the White House. And then you've got Nancy Pelosi, you've got Chuck Schumer negotiating on behalf of the Democrats. Once those four individuals get together, if they agree on this $1,200 stimulus check and literally just decide to pass this, if they can make that agreement, then what'll happen is that all of the Senate members, all of the House of Representatives, they'll all come back. They have 24 hours to come back into the office and literally vote once a negotiation has been reached between the four negotiators. And the four negotiators are actually still actively working on making progress and getting this thing passed. So it really doesn't matter if all of the Congress people are local or not. They have 24 hours to respond, come back in, and submit their vote once it's needed. And President Trump is also in support of the PPP business loans, the Paycheck Protection business loans. He says that I am ready to have the U.S. Treasury and the SBA send additional PPP payments to small businesses that have been hurt by the virus. Democrats are holding this up. Again, placing blame on Democrats, putting pressure on the Democrats to take action. Trump tweeted his support for the U.S. Treasury and Small Business Administration to send additional payments, additional Paycheck Protection Program payments to small businesses that have been impacted in the wake of the pandemic. Like the $600 per week enhanced unemployment insurance benefits, applicants can no longer apply for the Paycheck Protection Program. So much like the unemployment insurance benefits have expired, the PPP benefits have also expired. And so there are a number of people who are being directly impacted by a lack of action from Congress. And so in spite of the fact that Congress is not in office right now, he is putting pressure, he's applying pressure to get something to take place. Now, the last tweet that I wanted to cover with you guys was regarding state and local aid. He said that I am ready to send more money to states and local governments to save jobs for police, firefighters, first responders, and teachers. Again, he says Democrats are holding this up. Now, hey guys, I'm not making this up. You saw it directly from President Trump. He is literally putting the Democrats under the bus, throwing the Democrats under the bus. And so I think it's a pretty good way to apply pressure when it seems like, there's no sense of urgency among Congress right now. Right now, Congress has literally just been dragging their feet. And, many of us, including myself, I was thoroughly convinced that, Congress, there's no way Congress is going to let the federal unemployment insurance benefits expire without extending them. They're going to take action before that time, right? That was July 31st that they officially expired. And in addition to that, you had the evictions moratorium that was going to expire. Oh, there's no way Congress is going to let people be subject to evictions. Well, that expired, and seemingly, Congress didn't even care. And so in all honesty, I'm really happy to see any kind of pressure be applied to Congress to make Congress take action. So, if it takes President Trump, saying something like, Democrats are holding this up and placing direct blame on the Democrats. Personally, I don't really care. As long as we get our stimulus checks out, they reinstate the federal unemployment insurance benefits. They provide the additional state and local funding for, first responders, police officers, firefighters, provide the funding to allow schools to reopen safely, and to provide the renters protection to prevent millions. I mean, literally 12 million people right now are subjected to being potentially evicted if eviction moratoriums are not passed. So, there's a lot riding on this. I'm going to keep you guys updated on all of the latest that comes out in the future regarding the next stimulus checks. So that's all for this update, guys. Hey, if you got any value out of this video, do me a favor and smash that like button if you haven't already, and also subscribe to the channel. And lastly, just yesterday, I released a video talking about the five mind hacks that I use to become successful. These are millionaire habits that I wanted to share with you guys. These can be used, and in fact, these are actually more important if you're not doing well financially, that you employ these. So if you guys are not familiar with these mindset hacks, I literally use these at my worst financial moment in my life, and they have completely changed my life, and I still use them to this very day, every single day. So if you're struggling, I highly recommend that you check out, either up here or down here, there's a video for the 5 mindset hacks that I wish I knew 20 years ago. So anyway, you guys, I appreciate you watching to the end of this video. Have a great one.